vortex. I always have really great concept ideas for videos that I want to do, and then I rarely do any of them because I'm not an organized person, and I'll never be an organized person. And I've been thinking a lot about how we love to tell ourselves these lies about things that we're going to do and ways that we're going to change our behavior. And I don't want to just rationalize bad behavior, and I want to rationalize doing things that I know are detrimental to me. And I was thinking about how some things could be simple in certain ways and helpful in other ways. And how, you know, if it weren't for the gift of discernment, if it weren't for like this understanding that, like, you know, things are not black or white. You know, human behavior is not black or white. People are really misguided if they think that they can determine, you know, the reasons why somebody shoots up a school, or the reasons why somebody drowns their children, or the reason why somebody commits suicide even, you know, like, there are just a lot of things that, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to start moseying into your lane, I'm so sorry. What, truck? You know, it's okay. But, yeah, it's like, we're so arrogant if we think that we can solve problems based off of our limited information. It's like, we live in an information age, right? So practically everybody on the internet has a smartphone, right? Right? Okay. Well, if that's the case, then people should obviously have a much deeper understanding of, like, how we can solve problems. But that just seems to be lost on everybody. And so all that they do is just, like, complain about how fucked up it is that the world is what it is. But, you know, I've always been, like, you know, pretty aware of, like, lies. You know, I think that a lot of stuff that we've been told is a lie, if not all of it. So this one I want to stop smoking because I don't want to have to get it to a point where, like, I'm wheezing and I have, like, emphysema and all this shit before I'm like, okay, I probably should stop smoking weed. You know? But I feel like I just screwed myself because every single time that I openly admit that I'm attempting that, you know, I'm attempting sobriety. That's my favorite part of the trip right here. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Not all things suck in America, okay? Overpasses are magnificent, and it's one of the cool things about the Industrial Revolution that very few talk about, okay? But yeah, so I was thinking about, like, how seemingly futile it is to keep telling myself that I'm gonna do things that are, like, contrary to my nature. Like, as a disorganized schizophrenic, it just seems kind of silly that I would think that doing the same thing as everybody else, you know, making a list, because that's what most people do. They make a list and they figure out, you know, what they want to do, But the reason why that doesn't help me is because I see that as an additional wasting of time. Because, like, I know what I need to do. I don't need to look at it again, you know? I already, like, know that inside my head. But normal-ass people need a list, I think. But, you know, every so often, I will attempt to lie to myself and be like, why don't you just write a list? Now, I can't believe I just got into drinking coconut water. It really is one of the best health decisions I've ever made. There's a lot of stuff that I've done that's been really good for me, but I'm not consistent about it. It figures that the only thing that I'd be consistent about would be like my return to the dope man, okay? It's relevant. It's definitely relevant. Because eventually they're going to legalize marijuana all over the country, and exactly what you've been talking about is going to happen, and it's going to be way worse than what you're seeing transpire already. Yeah, it's not going to be cool. It's not going to be like a fun, drug-induced experience like this 13th floor elevator song. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a really, really bad acid trip for America. But you know what? I think about this a lot. Like how if people just had empathy and they could like take themselves out of the equation and they could take out their emotional reactionary behavior and they could just like for a second try to imagine what it's like to be another person living a completely different life with a different upbringing and, you know, obviously different obstacles. And I'm really grateful for all the obstacles in my life, you know? And this is why I say that schizophrenia is a gift from God, because it's allowed me to see the truth about things, and it's allowed me to develop massive amounts of empathy that prevent me from being able to self-righteously beat my drum and act like I'm so much better than everybody else, all because I don't have a smartphone. Love you, Frank. I'm glad somebody pointed it out. Well, I don't like how I don't like it when people gloat about anything, even if it's like something that's true. I'm like, this is annoying, you know? You're kind of making me not want to support you because of how obnoxious you're being about whatever talent you have, you know? So, I don't like self-righteous people. So I'm pretty quick to like realize that I'm doing that and be like, oh man, that's terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Vortex. I'm sorry that I act like I'm so superior because of my flip phone salty life. But I try to take myself out of the equation and imagine being, you know, your average. Ooh, ooh. I'm sorry, Thelonious. That was really intense. I felt that in my whole body. Anyway. Yeah, so try to take myself out of the equation and imagine myself like being this other person that has their own onslaught of problems, okay? And they have a completely different way of looking at everything than I do. And so based off of that, it's understandable like why people make the decisions that they make. And what's so crazy to me, and I actually just watched a video about this with a trans person that a lot of people really, really hate because she essentially gave in to her delusion, and you know, she got a lot of work done to herself, and she identifies as trans, but she's fully aware of the fact that she's not an actual woman though. And so what's crazy to me is like how many people will still try to use that against her, even though she's openly admitting that she's like mentally ill. And I mean, that's the thing, like people don't have any empathy for that community because they don't have any empathy for mental illness at all. That's why it's like their solution to mental illness is either denial or to obsess about it and call it names and rebuke it and say like, oh, you're gonna burn in hell and you're sinning and you're living a disgusting lifestyle and all that shit. As if those people are gonna go, oh my goodness, you're so right, I don't want to burn in hell. I don't want to keep engaging in sodomy. I don't want to. I mean, that's the thing. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Relational lack of empathy. If they had empathy, they could like take their feelings out of the whole equation. But they can't do that because they think it's passion. It's not passion. Stop acting like you got the passion of Jesus Christ. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. My goal in the future is to prove how much everybody's a hypocrite based off of the phones. Like, I'm just going to use the smartphone to prove that nobody but the Amish are conservative in this country, okay? Because it's just so annoying. It's so annoying to hear that. Like, the most modern people in the world are like whining about how the Republican Party is not conservative enough. Like, y'all give in to technology that convinces people that changing their genitals is the solution. Like, you're still, like, abiding by those same rules. You just don't realize that you're doing that. Because you can't take yourself out of the situation. Like I said, it's narcissism. Now, I do think, like, whenever these motherfuckers put the phone down, they probably come back to reality. Not everybody can be Sonny Johnson, you know? It sucks. You wish everybody would just be Sonny Johnson. But I don't think that most people have the self-control, though. So if somebody, like, sends a message or something, or say they see something that they disagree with, and they're mad that this other person is allowed to have an opinion that's different from theirs, they have to comment on it. They have no choice in the matter. They have to spew their brilliant thoughts for the world to see. And if they don't, I don't know what they think is going to happen, but obviously it's pretty bad, you know, if they don't engage in that compulsive behavior. Now, see, this is why I bring this up. Because, you know, I'm engaging in my own compulsive behaviors, and I know that they're bad. And I can admit that they're bad. And I can admit all these things that I struggle with. And, you know, if somebody told me, well, you're going to burn in hell for masturbating. Or you smoke weed and God is going to punish you for that. It's like, why would anybody subscribe to this religion, y'all? You know? when the people that do subscribe to the religion act like that. Like, it's like they're a psychiatrist or something. Like, I'm gonna, like, sit here with my clipboard and, like, check off aspects of your lifestyle that are problematic because I read Romans one time. You know? It's like, there's so much of the Bible, like, I've had to read it over and over and over again to actually feel like I understand it. And I think that people, whenever they get saved, now this isn't always the case, like, maybe they've always been a Christian, but it's just a tendency that so many people have. When they get saved, or when they get sober, or when they, like, turn away from a sinful lifestyle, they have this holier-than-thou attitude of, like, I'm gonna sit up here in my rock and, like, judge everybody, and I'm gonna bring people to God, and I'm gonna save people from their wretched lifestyle. I think it's a cope. I think it's a cope because there's a part of them that can't accept the fact that they're not a virgin anymore. They're covered in tattoos. They probably have permanent brain damage because of all the drugs they've done. They've obviously damaged their body. You know? Like, whenever I make jokes about stuff, like, it's never... It's always in good fun, okay? I never want to be mean. No matter what it seems. Like, I have the best of intentions. So I want people to do better. And I don't think the reason why people are screwed up is because they get tattoos or, like... It's just that there are a lot of people that make it more obvious that they're screwed up than others, you know? But I feel like if the more Christian conservative types, if they got off their phones, if they would, like, not allow themselves to use Gab for, like, a whole week, they'd probably realize that they're just as much of a compulsive drug addict as all of these junkies in San Francisco that are shitting all over the street, okay? And that's the thing, people just, it's their ego. Their ego that's gonna watch this video and they're gonna see, like, my au naturel state, and they're gonna be upset about it. Because they base all of their judgments on, like, the physical appearance. Because they don't know that the physical appearance can be deceiving. I'm utterly convinced that, like, I'm in the tiniest little group in the world that understands that. Because the same people that are lying, hold on a second. Kingdom of heaven is within you, that's true. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I was talking about how people, like, they want so badly to have something that they can trust. Somebody that they can rely on that's not going to lie to them. And so they are going to trust the same media that lied to them up and down about this past election, okay? They're still going to trust them in relation to all their other information. The fact that Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon got fired on the same day by two supposedly opposing political television networks, okay? I just don't understand how people in this country can't understand that everything is fucking rigged, dude. Come the fuck on. Like, just kill yourself, right? Just kill yourself. Just fucking... You have a gun, right? You have a gun. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I have to make it obvious I'm kidding. I can't... Somebody tried to tell me, like, you know, you shouldn't end the video with, like, suicidal suggestions. Like, I'm a comedian! I'm allowed to say whatever the fuck I want! I'd much rather people just, like, realize how shitty they are and change their behavior. But, like I told y'all, like, I'm at a fucking standstill right now, because I'm, like, going through this transitional period, and whenever I'm going through a transitional period, I kind of just, like, stop and, you know, just evaluate everything. And I wish that more people were willing to do that, but it's like everybody thinks that they have to be relevant and comment on stupid bullshit that happens on the internet. You know, because I see a lot of this, like, oh, we're running out of time, we're running out of time. What is time? Like, time doesn't even exist, so it's... I'm just saying, like, once again, this is why I'm so grateful to, like, not be affiliated with, like, political stuff. I think I tried to be like that because I mean, I am a very passionate person, so, you know, naturally, like, I would probably have, you know, very strong political beliefs, but, you know, I just have too much empathy. I got too much empathy. I can't just go along with stuff because that stuff makes me feel good about myself. You know? I mean, if you're right, you're right. And your lifestyle will speak for itself. Like, the more that I think about it, the more that I'm convinced that me having a low subscriber count and me losing subscribers, I was gonna say left and left, but it is left and right, and I'm very proud of that. The fact that I can't keep people because, you know, I'm just too open-minded or I'm too real. I think that's a good thing. Because, yeah, most people are just sheep, you know, and so they might like something that you have to say, but if they don't like all of it, they're just gonna, like, write you off, which is so stupid. Everybody's such a narcissist. And yet they want to salvage this world. Why?